The announcement of the India-EU Free Trade Agreement marks a defining moment in global commerce. At the 16th India-EU Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen unveiled the strategic partnership. This isn't just another trade deal, it's a leap forward for India and the European Union, two economic giants shaping a quarter of the world's GDP. The agreement signals a future of open markets, predictability, and inclusive growth, setting the stage for unprecedented opportunities. Let's explore how this historic milestone will reshape trade, create jobs, and foster innovation for millions across both regions. The heart of this breakthrough is the 16th India-EU Summit, where leaders from both sides came together to announce the conclusion of the Free Trade Agreement. This moment is the result of years of negotiation, dialogue, and shared vision. The summit not only celebrated the agreement but also highlighted the commitment of both India and the EU to building a balanced, modern, and rules-based economic partnership. The presence of top leaders underscored the strategic importance of this deal, reflecting a mutual desire for deeper cooperation and trust. This is a partnership built on strong leadership and a forward-looking approach. India, the world's fourth largest economy, and the European Union, the second largest, are joining forces. Together, they account for 25% of global GDP and one-third of global trade. This integration brings together two diverse and complementary economies, creating a platform for unprecedented trade and investment opportunities. The scale of this partnership means that businesses, entrepreneurs, and workers in both regions will benefit from new markets, resources, and innovations. The combined economic strength of India and the EU is set to drive global growth and prosperity for years to come. One of the standout features of the India-EU FTA is the unprecedented market access it provides. Over 99% of Indian exports will now enjoy preferential entry into the European Union. This opens the door for massive growth, especially for sectors that are labor-intensive and export-driven. With tariffs dropping to zero on entry into force, Indian goods like textiles, leather, marine products, gems, and jewelry are poised for a significant boost. This preferential access not only enhances India's export competitiveness but also strengthens its position as a trusted global supplier. Free trade agreement is a game-changer for India's micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs. By opening up new markets and reducing trade barriers, the FTA creates fresh opportunities for MSMEs to expand and thrive. This in turn is expected to generate jobs for women, artisans, youth, and professionals across the country. The ripple effect of this growth will be felt in communities, boosting incomes and supporting inclusive development. The FTA is not just about big business, it's about empowering the backbone of India's economy. The FTA in place, India's exports are set for takeoff. Exports worth INR 6.41 lakh crore or about USD 75 billion are poised to benefit from the agreement. Labor-intensive sectors like textiles, leather, marine products, and gems and jewelry stand to gain immensely from preferential access. This means more orders, higher production, and greater employment opportunities. The FTA is designed to propel India Make in India initiative, encouraging domestic manufacturing and boosting the country's global competitiveness. FTA introduces a carefully crafted quota-based auto liberalization package. This means that European automakers can introduce their models in India, especially in higher price bands, while Indian-made automobiles gain reciprocal access to the EU market. Indian consumers will benefit from high-tech products and increased competition, while the domestic auto industry gets a chance to expand its footprint in Europe. This balanced approach ensures that both sides enjoy new opportunities without compromising local interests. India's agricultural and processed food sectors are set for a transformative boost. The FTA creates a level playing field for Indian farmers and agrarian enterprises, especially for key commodities like tea, coffee, spices, fresh fruits, vegetables, and processed foods. Enhanced competitiveness will strengthen rural livelihoods and promote inclusive growth. Importantly, India has safeguarded sensitive sectors such as dairy, cereals, and poultry, ensuring that domestic priorities are balanced with export growth. While the FTA opens new doors, it also protects India's sensitive agricultural products and dairy sector by excluding them from market access commitments. This prudent approach ensures that vulnerable sectors are shielded from sudden competition, preserving livelihoods and supporting food security. By balancing export ambitions with domestic priorities, the agreement demonstrates a thoughtful and responsible strategy for sustainable growth. Services are a dominant and fast-growing part of both the Indian and EU economies. The FTA secures ambitious and commercially meaningful market access and services, covering professional services, education, financial services, tourism, and more. Certainty of market access, non-discriminatory treatment, and a focus on digitally delivered services will provide a major boost to India's service exports. This is a win for Indian service providers looking to compete on the world stage. Future-Ready Mobility Framework is a cornerstone of the FTA. It expands global opportunities for skilled and semi-skilled Indian professionals, making it easier for them to work and travel between India and the EU. The agreement covers short-term, temporary, and business travel, with commitments for intracorporate transferees, business visitors, and even family members. This facilitative framework supports talent mobility, knowledge exchange, and professional growth. FTA includes forward-looking provisions on the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. India has secured commitments for constructive engagement, technical cooperation, and financial assistance to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and comply with emerging carbon requirements. This ensures that India's exports remain competitive while supporting the country's transition to a greener, more sustainable economy. India-EU FTA lays the foundation for inclusive, resilient, and future-ready growth. By integrating Indian businesses more deeply into European and global value chains, the agreement empowers workers, artisans, women, youth, and MSMEs. It's about more than just trade. It's about building a robust ecosystem that supports innovation, job creation, and sustainable development for all. Journey to this agreement was not easy. Since the relaunch of negotiations in 2022, both sides have engaged in intense discussions, balancing interests and priorities. The FTA is the result of sustained dialogue, political will, and a shared vision for a balanced, modern, and rules-based partnership. It's a testament to the power of diplomacy and cooperation in achieving common goals. FTA covers a wide range of areas, including trade in goods, services, trade remedies, rules of origin, customs, and trade facilitation. It also addresses emerging areas like SMEs and digital trade. This comprehensive approach ensures that the agreement remains relevant and adaptable to changing global trends, benefiting a broad spectrum of stakeholders. Labor-intensive sectors such as textiles, apparel, leather, footwear, marine products, gems, jewelry, handicrafts, engineering goods, and automobiles are set to benefit the most. Tariffs up to 10% on nearly $33 billion of exports will drop to zero, making Indian products more competitive in the EU market. This will empower workers, artisans, and MSMEs, integrating them more deeply into global value chain. FTA is designed to empower Indian businesses by providing them with greater access to the European market. By reducing barriers and streamlining processes, Indian companies can now compete on a level playing field with their European counterparts. This integration will reinforce India's role as a key player and supplier in global trade, opening up new avenues for growth and collaboration. Automobile sector stands out as a major beneficiary of the FTA. With a quota-based liberalization package, European automakers can introduce high-tech models in India, while Indian-made vehicles gain access to the EU market. This reciprocal arrangement encourages competition, innovation, and consumer choice while supporting the Make in India initiative. FTA creates a level playing field for Indian farmers and agrarian enterprises. Key commodities such as tea, coffee, spices, fresh fruits, vegetables, and processed foods will gain enhanced competitiveness. This will strengthen rural livelihoods, promote inclusive growth, and reinforce India's position as a trusted global supplier. Sensitive sectors remain protected, ensuring balanced development. Beyond tariff liberalization, the FTA addresses non-tariff barriers through strengthened regulatory cooperation, greater transparency, and streamlined customs procedures. Sanitary and phytosanitary SBS measures and technical barriers to trade disciplines are included to ensure smooth trade flows. These measures help Indian exporters overcome obstacles and access the EU market more efficiently. With the CBAM provisions, India has secured commitments for technical cooperation, recognition of carbon prices, and financial assistance. These measures support India's efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and comply with new carbon requirements. The FTA ensures that India's transition to a greener economy is supported by its European partners, fostering sustainable development. FTA secures expanded and commercially significant commitments from the EU across key sectors of Indian strength. These include IT and IT-enabled services, professional services, education, financial services, tourism, construction, and other business sectors. Indian service providers now have predictable access to 144 EU subsectors, enabling them to deliver world-class services to European consumers. FTA is a two-way street. While Indian service providers gain access to the EU also benefits from access to 102 subsectors offered by India. This includes high-tech services and investment opportunities, creating a mutually beneficial arrangement. Both sides stand to gain from increased collaboration, innovation, and economic growth. FTA provides a facilitative and predictable framework for business mobility. Professionals can travel between India and the EU for short-term, temporary, and business purposes. The agreement includes commitments for intracorporate transferees, business visitors, and their families, as well as contractual service suppliers and independent professionals in key sectors. This framework supports talent exchange and professional development. India has secured a framework to engage constructively on social security agreements over a 5-year horizon. This will support the mobility of professionals and their families, ensuring that social security benefits are portable and accessible. The agreement also supports student mobility and post-study work opportunities, making it easier for Indian students to gain international experience. Practitioners of Indian traditional medicine now have the opportunity to work under their home title in EU member states where such practices are not regulated. This recognition opens new doors for Indian healthcare professionals and promotes the global reach of India's traditional medical knowledge. FTA promotes cooperation in financial services, advancing innovation and securing cross-border electronic payments. India gains enhanced market access across several major EU member states, deepening financial integration and supporting the growth of financial services trade. This will help Indian financial institutions expand their global footprint. Commitments secured under the FTA unlock high-value employment opportunities for Indian talent. By reinforcing India's position as a global hub for talent, innovation, and sustainable economic growth, the agreement supports the aspirations of millions of young professionals and entrepreneurs. FTA reinforces intellectual property protections provided under TRIPS, covering copyright, trademarks, designs, trade secrets, and plant varieties. It also affirms the Doha Declaration and recognizes the importance of digital libraries, such as India's Traditional Knowledge Digital Library (TKDL) project. These measures support innovation and protect India's rich heritage. The FTA is expected to facilitate cooperation in critical areas like artificial intelligence, clean technologies, and semiconductors. By supporting India's technological advancement, the agreement positions the country as a leader in emerging technologies and innovation. The FTA is expected to substantially scale up trade between India and the EU. By enhancing export competitiveness and integrating Indian businesses more deeply into European and global value chains, the agreement creates new opportunities for growth and collaboration. India-EU FTA marks a new chapter in bilateral economic engagement. It strengthens trade and strategic cooperation between India and the 27-member EU bloc, embedding mechanisms for review, consultation, and response to future challenges. This dynamic approach ensures that the agreement remains relevant in a fast-changing world. The agreement relies on strong stewardship and trust to deliver gains for both sides. With mechanisms to address new and sudden challenges, the FTA is designed to adapt to the dynamic nature of global trade, fast-evolving technologies, and increasing regulatory complexities. The India-EU FTA, the European Union becomes India's 22nd FTA partner. Since 2014, India has signed trade deals with Mauritius, UAE, UK, EFTA, Oman, Australia, and announced a deal with New Zealand. This expanding network opens up the entire European market for Indian businesses, exporters, and entrepreneurs. Beyond boosting commerce, the FTA reinforces shared values, fosters innovation, and creates opportunities across sectors and stakeholders. From MSMEs and women to skilled professionals, farmers, and exporters, the agreement is designed to benefit a wide range of participants in the economy. Aligned with India's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the FTA positions India as a dynamic, trusted, and forward-looking partner on the global stage. It sets the foundation for inclusive, resilient, and future-ready growth for both regions, supporting India's long-term development goals. FTA is not just about trade, it's about fostering innovation and creating opportunities for all. By supporting MSMEs, women, youth, and skilled professionals, the agreement helps build a more inclusive and dynamic economy. It's a step towards a brighter, more prosperous future for both India and the EU. India-EU FTA cements a trusted partnership between two global leaders. By committing to open markets, predictability, and inclusive growth, India and the EU are setting a new standard for international cooperation. This partnership is built on mutual respect, shared values, and a vision for sustainable development. The agreement is designed to be future-ready, with mechanisms to adapt to new challenges and opportunities. By embedding review, consultation, and response mechanisms, the FTA ensures that both sides can respond effectively to the dynamic nature of global trade and technology. By integrating Indian businesses more deeply into European and global value chains, the FTA enhances competitiveness and creates new opportunities for collaboration. This integration supports India's role as a key player in global trade and strengthens its position as a trusted supplier. From MSMEs and women to skilled professionals and farmers, the FTA empowers a diverse range of stakeholders. By creating new opportunities and supporting inclusive growth, the agreement helps build a more resilient and dynamic economy for all. The India-EU FTA sets a new benchmark for future trade agreements. Its comprehensive approach, focus on inclusivity and adaptability make it a model for other countries seeking to build strong, mutually beneficial partnerships in a rapidly changing world. At its core, the FTA is about more than just economics. It reinforces shared values, fosters innovation, and creates a platform for collaboration across sectors. By working together, India and the EU can address global challenges and drive sustainable development. As the India-EU FTA comes into force, both regions are poised for a new era of growth and cooperation. The agreement will continue to evolve, adapting to new challenges and opportunities. With strong leadership and a shared vision, India and the EU are ready to shape the future of global trade together. The India-EU Free Trade Agreement is more than a trade deal. It's a strategic leap towards a more inclusive, resilient, and future-ready global economy. By unlocking new opportunities, empowering stakeholders, and fostering innovation, the FTA sets the stage for lasting prosperity. As India and the EU embark on this new journey, the world will be watching the impact of this historic partnership.